A quick content warning before we start. In this episode, we talk about a character's rape as another character's motivating backstory. That starts around 48 minutes in and continues for about 4 minutes after. There will be another warning when you get there, so now go ahead and make informed decisions. And now, on with the show. Based on The Boys Are Back in Town by Thin Lizzy, this is Bizarre Podcast Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant, you can call him Chip, and we are talking about episodes 4 through 6 of Stardust Crusaders. Hi, buddy. Are you throwing toys at me? Come here. Come be my friend. Oh, big stretch. Okay.
Commentate on the anime with us.
Come on. Yes, we are joined by a very special guest. My dog wanted to be on a lap for some reason, real bad. So everybody meet Moki. You will not hear her.
Hello.
Just know she's there.
Very polite dog.
This episode is Dogs Must Commentate, I guess. So we're going to start right where we left off with that post-credits scene with episode 4, Tower of Grey. Although what I said is not entirely true because that begins with a cutaway. We find Baba Yaga doing a monologue about the nature of fear.
Yeah, we get our first look at one of Dio's lackeys here, which is a very tiny, squat old lady who sounds like, in the English dub, Rita Repulsa. Yeah, talking about the nature of fear. There's tons of just naked babes just laying around in Dio's evil fog-filled castle.
Well, he's got that unusual sensuality.
Oh yeah, it's this big
that
buff...
you wouldn't expect from a man.
I never expected this. But yeah, she's listing every type of reaction you can have to fear, but she's like, with Dio, there's a new reaction to being afraid, and that's just fucking loving it. When you're the presence of Dio, you feel joy from the fear you see in him. And
then he just sticks his fingers in one of the nude ladies and has a little snack. Has a little lady snack.
And
in the neck, I mean, the vampiric.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I'm not going to say there's not subtext, but
sure. Yeah. While they're talking about that, this tiny old lady changes the subject very abruptly and goes like, "Oh, so we got a guy on the plane that the Joestars are on. And he's gonna fuck him up real good. Don't worry, Lord Dio. They're gonna die."
So back on that plane, we see all of the boys taking a nap. I'm reminded that Avdol looks like someone heard the phrase hair plugs, but didn't quite catch the meaning.
Yeah. It's not just the boys that are taking a nap. Everyone on the plane is sound asleep now.
Incredibly sound asleep. Like, it will become absurd how sound asleep everyone is. Because all our boys wake up. It starts with just like Avdol and Kakyoin, but the JoJos also awaken shortly.
And they just immediately see that bug from the cliffhanger of the previous episode just zipping around. And thankfully, the boys are observant enough to see a weird bug and immediately go, "Oh, is that a stand? That bug is suspicious."
This bug, as they watch it, it seems to grow. It's like 20 times bigger than the way it looked in the cliffhanger. Yeah. I don't think there's enough space inside an airliner cabin for the forced perspective to do that.
Yeah. And they keep like trying to, look at the bug, but every time they do, it like zips behind a chair really fast until suddenly it is just right next to Jotaro's head. The bug is frothing at the mouth. It's a rabid bug.
Apparently that's just what stands do between the nurse and now this bug.
Oh, yeah.
All stands have rabies. That's what I'm learning.
Yeah.
We have to put Star Platinum down. It's for some good.
Oh, no.
JoJo, you do it. He's your ghost.
So now the bug is just floating right in front of them, and the bug kindly stands still for a second for Abdul to go, "Oh, I've heard of a stand user who uses a bug stand like this to just cause mayhem. And I hear this bug likes to rip the tongues out of his victims. And Avdol's 100% correct, by the way. This bug loves to rib out tugs.
He knows it is named Tower of Grey, and for the first time we get a tarot lesson in how it relates to the stand, and this is one of the worst ones. Like, one of the oldest, like, tarot reading jokes is how, like, oh, you get the death card, don't worry, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as it seems. You get the tower, though, you fucked up.
Yeah.
You got to watch out. So it's all about, like, calamity and an interrupted journey. So, you know, the last thing you want to meet on a plane, right?
Yeah.
So let's take a moment, since this is the first time this has come up, let's rewind with some of the other tarot cards that we've met up to now that haven't had this benefit. With the Hermit, in divination represents prudence, circumspection, and also especially treason, dissimulation, roguery, corruption.
Oh, what the?
Dissimulation and roguery, very good fits for Joseph, honestly.
Yeah. If
I don't know about treason.
I don't know about treason.
I certainly don't know about prudence, but maybe that's a sign that he's mellowed in his old age.
I'd say he's mellowed out a bit.
Yeah.
Not entirely, but most of those apply at least.
The Magician, very fitting for Avdol, actually. You know, it is associated with divination and the meeting of the spiritual and physical world. So, like, he is their guide into the mystic realm, a fortune teller himself. Yeah, perfect fit. Good job.
Yep.
I guess he named his own, so yeah, it better be a good fit.
Yeah.
Avdol is self-aware. That's nice. All right. The Hierophant, for Hierophant Green, represents marriage?
He did say that he thought Jotaro's mom was pretty hot.
That he would like to marry such a woman. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Alliance, captivity, servitude, or by another account, mercy and goodness, inspiration. The man to whom the querent has recourse. This whole, like, captivity and servitude thing, very good for a puppet master stand.
Okay, yeah, sure. That part works, yeah.
Yeah. The Star, for Star Platinum, loss, theft, privation, abandonment. Another reading says hope and bright prospects.
Wow, those are some very different readings for the Star there.
My question is, whose abandonment? Is this about, JoJo falling away from the Joestar line and Joestar traditions?
That could fit. I like that one.
That might be the most interesting question of Jotaro's character right now. But yeah, back to Avdol in the present. He's listing the many crimes of Tower of Grey, including a plane that crashed in England last year, killing 300. That was just blamed on, mechanical failure or whatever, because his whole thing is crashing planes and train wrecks and shit, and then having them passed off not as foul play, but just mysterious occurrences.
Yeah.
This could be a reference to Pan American Flight 103.
Yeah, I was curious if there's a flight that matched up with that timeline at all in location.
This event was about 6 months before this chapter was published, so the time roughly matches. Also, it exploded over Scotland and 270 died, so it's a pretty close match.
Okay, sure, yeah.
The big difference is that wasn't a mechanical failure in reality or in the press. It was a well-known case of terrorism. Libyan nationals planted a bomb on the plane and exploded it. And like the legal history of this case is pretty interesting because someone was just charged with making the bomb last December of 2020.
Oh my God.
That's how long and protracted the investigation and the legal process has been for this case. In part because, Gaddafi didn't give the guys up until like the late 90s and
right.
The bomb went off in the 80s.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know about any of that. Shit. Going back to the tarot card stuff, I want to bring up that like here Avdol just knows of Tower of Grey. He's heard stories and stuff.
By reputation.
Yeah, by reputation. There are later stand users who Avdol, might not know about, and they will introduce themselves with their tarot card, and I just wonder how all these people sync up so that they're never accidentally overlapping. There's not a second Tower of Grey at any point. Everyone covers a single card from the deck.
And a single color. And there's
a single color, yeah.
There's a lot of names for colors, sure, but there's only so many cards in the major arcana.
Yeah. For Avdol, at least, it's just like, I like to name stands after tarot cards because I'm a fortune teller and I like to, divine stuff. But everyone has gone with that naming convention. Like, it's cool and I like that. But it is funny how, like, everyone's just like, oh shit, yeah, let's just name our stands after colors and tarot cards.
Speaking of the tarot cards, at the end of the last episode, you were wondering why some of them have Lucky Land printed on them.
Oh, right, yeah. What is that?
Lucky Land Publication is Araki's company. That is what he named his studio.
Right. That's right.
It's not just on the Hermit, it's on the Star, it's on most of the tarot cards, actually. The phrase Lucky Land is hidden.
That makes sense, because I recognize the name from somewhere. I just could not remember where.
I'm sure in the week that has gone up between uploads, we have been corrected. But
yeah, almost definitely, yeah. But yeah, as Avdol is explaining this stuff, Jotaro just goes in to just punch the shit out of the bug with Star Platinum, and the bug dodges out of the way. The bug here is even faster than Star Platinum is. If I remember correctly, like, those stats that you see on the cards, Star Platinum is A in just about everything, and I think there is an S. So I guess the bug is an S. Bug is dodging around. It has like a weird little alien tongue, like with a smaller mouth on the tongue that extends out, and it shoots out of its mouth to go after Jotaro's or Star Platinum's tongue. And he's barely able to block it. Like, it goes straight through his hand, and he just bites down on it with his teeth to keep it from going after his tongue.
So much mouth violence.
There's a good amount of mouth violence.
Every stand fight so far, of our 2 stand fights, mouth violence.
Yeah. It's fairly common, I suppose. The bug is just dodging everything everyone's throwing at them. They're now wondering, like, well, shit, we can't hit the bug. We should probably go after the guy using the stand, just punch him instead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do like that, depending on the types of stands that people are fighting in JoJo, sometimes it's just easier to go after the pilot like it's a mech fight. Just go after the cockpit. Like, the robot's too powerful. Just kill the guy driving it. But, like, Joseph's wondering, oh, shit, which one of these people on the plane is commanding this stand. Everyone, despite the fact that people have already shouted a little bit, there's been some punching and stuff, everyone's still sound asleep in this plane right now.
I love that this bug is taunting them the whole time. Like, it hypes up how fast it is, how unpunchably fast it is by saying, like, okay, if you had 20 guns pointed at me, point blank range, they all went off, I could still dodge them all. But also, you can't shoot stands with guns anyway.
Yeah.
That was just a rhetorical example.
Yeah, it hasn't been established yet, I think, but around this time you learn that, the only way you can hurt a stand is with another stand. It's either just kill the guy using it or use a stand to punch theirs, because they're ghosts, man. Anyways, as the bug is taunting everyone, it flies through the back of a seat and burrows clean through a guy's head and just keeps going and goes through like 4 sleeping guys, so that it tears through all their faces and pulls out all of their tongues. And the bug says, oh, this is the best part. And with his proboscis tongue thingy, uses the tongues to write the word massacre in blood on a wall.
With really nice penmanship, honestly.
It's really nice
penmanship. It should be commended, yeah.
And then the narrator pops in to just go, massacre, the meaning of this word, to kill everyone. Yeah, no shit. I know.
While the bug is flying around and being just a giggly evil friend, the whole crew's faces are in these angular inset windows that then zoom around each other and flex, and like, okay, this is very Tamino. I'm at home. Thank you. I feel very comfortable right now.
Yes. Yeah, this happens every once in a while throughout Stardust Crusaders. Avdol tries to bring out Magician's Red, but like Kakyoin stops and goes like, yo, you cannot use fire inside of a fucking plane, dude. Like almost all of our stands here are not good to use inside because we could just punch a hole in the plane.
Yeah.
And just kill everyone.
We're in a sealed environment, so you're either going to burn up all our air, or you, JoJo, will just punch a hole in the fuselage and we're fucked.
Yeah. An old man in the back of the plane gets up to go to the bathroom, and he's like all, bleary-eyed. He's still really sleepy, so he's not really noticing what's going on.
Kakyoin continues to have a plan, and it is to karate chop old men for their own safety.
Yeah, because the old man suddenly starts freaking out and making noise because he's like leaning on the wall before going to the bathroom, and then he puts his hand on the massacre writing. And
Why
is
my hand all sticky?
Yeah. Oh no, it's blood. So yeah, Kakyoin just karate chops him unconscious before he can wake everyone else up and cause a panic. Yeah, Kakyoin's like, okay, everyone, so many people's stands here are just gonna fuck this plane up. We need like a more discreet, subtle stand. Here's my chance to, help the group out with Hierophant Green.
And he starts immediately doing emerald splashes, and like that can liquefy someone's insides through their chest. How is that not a threat to cabin integrity?
Yeah, I also wonder this. Like, it is established and like continues to be so that like Hierophant Green isn't like the strongest stand, just like with its attacks. Compared to a lot of others.
It has a C in destructive power.
Yes.
I found a chart.
Okay, cool. I'm glad. So maybe he just intuitively knows that Emerald Splash is weak enough to not puncture holes in the cabin. But it's still like, damn, that's a lot of Chaos Emeralds you're shooting. And there's a lot of people who I think could get one of these in the face and die. I don't know. But yeah, he's firing a ton of these all over the place, and the bug is, just still taunting him. He can just dodge around every single one of these, no problem. He goes after Kakyoin's tongue.
More mouth violence,
but like, he goes after the stand, not Kakyoin himself, so it just like breaks the little like apparatus over the stand's mouth for the first hit, so he isn't able to get at the tongue. But Kakyoin has had a plan the whole time. He's using the Emerald Splash to distract the bug, keep him kind of in one place, just dodging stuff endlessly, so that he can grow, send a bunch of his stand's tentacles around to the side and behind the bug so that they can shoot out without him noticing and just impale him from multiple directions.
Yes. It is a simple but clever turnabout, using the attack, presenting the attack as, the main attack, but it's really just sort of suppressing fire to box Tower of Grey in, to this unseen grapple. But this follows evidence that, I guess the first piece of evidence that none of these guys are really good at trash talk. More will follow.
Yeah.
Like, Tower of Grey is talking about how, I'm going to steal your tongue and I'm going to give you such pain, you'll go mad. And Kakyoin responds, I'll go mad, all right, from pure joy. Like, that doesn't mean anything, dude.
Yeah, it's a really bad one-liner.
That's the you're the stupid one of stand users.
Yeah. With a bunch of his tentacles, like, piercing the bug, he just rips it into tiny pieces, and the old man that he had knocked out previously suddenly wakes up. His tongue sticks out. There's like a tattoo of a bug that appears on his tongue. His tongue rips in fucking half, and his head explodes.
And then they cover him with a tarp. Surely no one will notice the exploded head man under this tarp.
God. Kakyoin just goes like, oh yeah, I guess that was the stand user. That old man was pretty gross. That's pretty fitting. Gross stands usually have gross users, or he said something along those lines.
This stretch of episodes we're talking about, I really appreciate for how they give like a functional niche for each member of the team, right? And so Avdol is clearly, their mystic, their guide to the spiritual world, but Kakyoin is their sort of a tactician, but more of their, the smart one. Yeah.
Kakyoin.
He's their world traveler honor student,
Yeah, in just about any fight he's in, he's always the one doing like either clever or like stealthy stuff.
He's the most fact-knowing one of the group.
Yeah.
Within or without of a fight, that is his role. He knows true facts.
And also, like, Kakyoin is one of the, two teenage boys on this, so he has to be like the contrast to Jotaro because he is a very nice boy compared to Jotaro.
And we see that immediately because the stewardesses have finally woken up the flight attendants, and they are all about JoJo. Oh my goodness, he's so handsome. He's half your age, ladies. Come on now.
He's twice your height, though, so...
He also insults them immediately and then sends them away.
Yeah, he just, like, pushes them to the side and says, "Move, bitch." And Kakyoin catches both of these ladies, and she's just like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about my rude friend. That is such inexcusable behavior to treat women in such a cruel way. But this is an emergency. I am so sorry. Please forgive him."
There is a fun dynamic here of Kakyoin using JoJo as an unwitting wingman.
Yeah, this happens a couple times, yeah.
Yes, I will take your cast-offs and impress them with my charms. Avdol is shocked at this behavior, though.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going for the cockpit. Joseph gets in, and oops, all the pilots are dead. They've already had their tongues ripped out.
Mm-hmm. The autopilot is also deactivated. I assume its tongue has been ripped out somehow. I don't know.
Man, the very important plane tongue. So yeah, the plane is starting to go down. It's going to crash. And as they discover this, the fucking old man is still alive, actually. At least for a little bit. Just to come up with that tarp, now worn like a spooky cloak. Once again explaining, what his tarot card, his stand associated with means. Taunting them, telling them that, he is a servant of Lord Dio, and he's not going to let them even get close to finding him. And, oh, you may have defeated me, but, there's so many servants of Dio. You're going to be hounded every day of your life until we kill you.
Yeah, he monologues pretty good for a dead guy, and then he just collapses again. The end. Yeah,
he just more blood explodes out of him. Now he's officially dead. There we go. The stewardesses are scared. They saw an old man explode. Jotaro says, "Hey," to the stewardesses, he goes, "Wow, you ladies really are professionals because you didn't scream at an old man exploding. That's good because that would have been really annoying if you did." He's so mean. Anyways, yeah, he tells the stewardesses, like, "Hey, wake everybody up because they slept through that whole fight somehow."
I don't know how you're going to wake them up if they didn't wake up from that.
I know.
Some of them have emeralds embedded in their skulls. Don't worry about it.
Tell everyone to buckle up. We're gonna my grandpa here is gonna try to land this plane in the water,
which is news to Joseph.
Yeah, he's immediately starting to worry. We get a little bit of reminder of Joseph's adventures in part 2 because he starts talking about okay, I have some experience flying propeller planes
and zero experience landing any plane. Just want to point that out.
Yeah. He's always jumped out of a plane he has been in. And he even brings up, this is going to be my 3rd time in a plane that's fucking crashing, so I'm not good luck for planes, I guess.
So the plane goes down. Everyone is recovered. We immediately cut to the boys in Hong Kong, which is where they nearly made it to, watching news coverage of the plane being fished out of the sea near Llama Island, which is where Chow Yun-Fat was born and raised.
Oh, huh, okay.
Yeah, how about that?
Huh.
And the narrator fucking loves Hong Kong.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're going to continue the tradition here of anytime we get to a new place, the narrator is going to give us like a quick tourist.
Okay, you say quick, but this feels endless.
Okay, no, you're right. It is kind of long. Like introducing like the $1 million view, like the skyline of this place.
At least Hong Kong is a place you can actually go, unlike Win Night's Rest.
Yeah. The tradition of like this tourism stuff is like, if I remember correctly, at least starting with part 3, whenever Araki decided like the setting or settings for a story before he would actually start working on it, he would literally just take a vacation there and just do a bunch of sightseeing. So every JoJo part that is somewhere other than Japan always feels like a vessel for like his vacation slides, almost. I don't know. He likes to travel. There's eventually a JoJo part that is mainly in America where he wrote in like the back of one of the volumes or an interview or something where he's just like, so when I went to America, I found out that a lot of it is just fucking huge and there's nothing there. And so I try to reflect that in the story. Yeah, he really seems to just enjoy tourism in general, so that leaks in a lot.
However, Joseph does not enjoy tourism.
Oh, no.
He enjoys making phone calls, demanding to charter some new ride with no passengers, minimum crew, because he is certain everyone around them will die.
And while everyone else is waiting, there's like waiting right next to a random like food cart, and this guy's like, "Hey, do you want some rice porridge?" And this is where Kakyoin immediately turns into a Wikipedia article and starts explaining rice porridge to Jotaro here, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have it the popular way with pork and a century egg, please." And he's just so jazzed to explain rice porridge to people.
Joseph finishes his phone call and just starts slapping food out of everybody's mouths.
Yeah.
I hate porridge. I hate century egg.
Yeah, Joseph is immediately like, if we're going to eat here, we're going to eat at the place that I like. I've been here before. If this is the one place I approve of. The guy's offering like hot cola, and he's just like, fuck that. Cola's supposed to be cold. It's cold. You drink it cold. Shut up.
And you shoot cops with it, God damn it.
So yeah, everyone goes to the restaurant that Joseph likes.
And they begin laying out a plan. Joseph lays down a map, and the real tension here is between the ticking clock of Holly's fate underneath Dio's curse and their need to like minimize collateral damage, because that plane thing could have went real south real quick.
Joseph brings up fucking Jules Verne.
We get story time with Pop Pop.
He explains.
He has to explain around the world in 80 days to prove that it's okay. We can get to Egypt in less than 50. It's fine.
Man. It's fine. Even if we go a slower route, like we can do this. We got a bunch of time. 50 is plenty of time.
So the big decision is whether they go by land or by sea. And Avdol makes a really good point. This is the first JoJo story set in the era of like border checkpoints and visa applications. So never mind the mountains and the desert. That's a big complication that they won't have to deal with if they just get a steamer ship and fucking go.
Yeah, just go around a bunch of this shit. So yeah, Avdol is proposing, just going by sea, and both Jotaro and Kakyoin are just like, I don't know, man, I'll leave it up to you. I've never been here. I've never traveled out here. I'm a high school student from Japan. So yeah, it's agreed upon. They're going to try and get a ship chartered. They're still worried that, they're going to encounter Dio's stand users, even on a fucking boat that they charter themselves. And as they're saying this, there's a big, beefy, ominous man also in the restaurant at a separate table. Kakyoin is teaching Jotaro like manners when you're at a restaurant in China, in Hong Kong.
The proper way to signify that you want your tea refilled and how fast they are at refilling your tea, and you tap the table to say thanks. I demand a JoJo chapter set in Chicago.
Oh my God.
So someone has to like explain the concept of dibs and like why there's a bunch of folding chairs out on the curb.
I mean, you never know. A later part that could literally happen. You just gotta. I think you just have somehow have to seep into Araki's Twitter feed if he has one, or some form of social media. Just make Chicago interesting to him in a way. It's like, I gotta go and visit that myself, and then he'll become obsessed with it for, a year or two, because he bases a story in there.
There is no end to like ancient evils that can wake up in the Field Museum. Like, come on.
Oh my God! And you know what? That would not be the first time an ancient evil is in a real ass museum in JoJo, because years ago, the Louvre had like a whole art show based around like manga authors, and Araki, like a bunch of manga authors got commissioned by Louvre to make some type of art involving the museum, and Araki straight up made an entire manga that is a JoJo ghost story set in the Louvre, where there's an ancient evil in the archives.
I assume it
really
is a sequel to Dan Brown's classic work.
Oh, yeah, sure. Do they reference that in that? It's been a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But anyways, there's precedence for a thing like that. But anyways, this big, beefy, mysterious man who we saw earlier walks up to the gang here.
Super high flat top hair.
Yeah.
He's wearing a tube top, but with one shoulder, basically. I don't really know how to explain his shirt.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but it's probably the beefiest guy we've seen in part 3.
Yeah.
He's getting close. He's not quite there, but he's getting close to Jonathan Joestar proportions. He's pretty big. So this guy, by the way, the really tall, flat-top hair, this guy, along with Stroheim, influenced the appearance of Guile in Street Fighter. Yeah, he comes up to the gang and says, like, hey, this is my first time here. I'm having a hard time reading the menu. Can you help me out?
JoJo is real pissy about it, but he's always outvoted because he's traveling with 3 friendly boys.
Yeah. Joseph's saying, like, hey, why don't, I've been here a bunch of times. I can help you with the menu. Why don't you, sit down and eat with us? Going over the menu and all this stuff. Joseph orders for everyone without any of their input.
Yeah. And he names a bunch of stuff that he's going to order without their input, and then just like points on the menu to the waiter, and the waiter brings out completely different things that are not what he said.
Yeah. A bunch of clams, some like frogs and shit.
Like a whole ass fish, some whole ass frogs with the faces looking at you.
Yeah.
So basically, this is a meal for 5 people. He ordered 4 entrees that nobody wanted, not even him. Real generous there, Joe. What the fuck?
Oh, man. It's really funny throughout this entire part how much like old man Joseph is so crotchety and he has to have things his way.
Yeah.
Or else he gets pissy. But at least Kakyoin is having a good time. He likes the clams a lot, actually.
And he doesn't even admit his mistake in not ordering what he thought he was ordering. He's just, it's all good. It's fine. Whatever. Shut up.
It's fine. It's good.
It's good.
But this new mystery man is, being friendly, eating with them. But then he picks up a carrot, one of the carrots that's been cut into the star of a shape. And it's just like, oh, isn't this cute? It's cut into the shape of a star. It reminds me of something. That's right. I know someone with this exact mark on their neck. Surprise, he is a servant of Dio.
Isn't that surprising? Because everyone we've spoken to since the school nurse has been a stand user.
Yeah, if you ever encounter somebody that you don't know and they start talking to you, just immediately assume they're a stand user.
Even if it's an old dude who's just getting up to pee in the middle of the night. He's lying. He's a stand user.
Yeah, you don't have to be buff or strong to have a stand at all. You can be fucking anybody. Anybody can have a stand. And as as this man is taunting them with like the little star carrot, their super porridge or whatever it is starts bubbling, and then a big robot arm shoots out of it with a sword, a rapier in its hand.
A fencing epee. And this is Silver Chariot. The chariot represents succor, providence, also war, triumph, presumption, vengeance, trouble. I don't want to get too heavy into spoiler, but like a lot of that is very fitting for this character. This is the right choice.
Yep. But Avdol immediately throws out Magician's Red and shoots some fire at this dude. But this guy with his sword, he just swings around the fire and he just wraps the fire around his sword, slings it at a table that got knocked over, and draws a clock made out of fire on it. Yes, he does. That is a thing you can do. And he tells Avdol, since you attacked me first, you will be the first to die. I've made a fire clock on that table, because the fire clock actually seems to be continuing to take accurate time. He says, when the fire clock strikes 12, you will be dead. Which gives him a couple hours, I think. It's like 3 hours or something like that, yeah. But that's the end of episode 4. Which brings us to episode 5, Silver Chariot. These episodes tend to all be named after the stand, what they fight in them. Yep. Most episodes are named that, yeah. So we're picking up right where we left off. Before we fight, let us both puff ourselves up and lay down some expectations. Huzzah! Yeah. Avdol is trying to say, like, okay, sure, you took my flames and drew a clock out of them. You can expertly deflect my flames. But I just don't shoot flames. I can, control any fire even after I've launched it. He gives, like, the Wonka Vader speech for how many directions he can make flames burn. Yeah, it's not just I shoot them. I can just move any fire around I want. So he, takes out the clock. Like, that's not a thing anymore. The end. I control fire. Yep. And now we got the other guy here who, by the way, has introduced himself as Jean-Pierre Polnareff.
One of the least recognizable music references, because who listens to Michel Polnareff in any English-speaking country?
Yeah. And Polnareff here immediately goes, oh yeah, well check this shit out. Throws a bunch of coins in the air, stabs his sword through all of them, but oh no, it wasn't just that he cut through pierced the coins. He also cut through the fire that was in the air and made a little shish kebab where each cut piece of flame is in between one of the coins he pierced. So he's made a coin and fire shish kebab.
This is very impressive. Everyone is very shocked. He keeps impressing on them that his sword is so sharp and precise. He can cut into like the nothingness between nothingness. I don't know what that means, but it sounds rad.
Yeah, he can create vacuums in the air. He cuts stuff he cuts through the air so fast and hard that he can...
Once again, just imagine the waitstaff watching their dining room burn down. Their tip gets skewered by an invisible ghost. They cannot see stands.
Yeah.
They have no idea what the fuck is happening.
But yeah, they don't fight here. Polnareff is like, I don't like fighting in cramped spaces. Let's go somewhere else in a much more open space.
Which he says is letting Avdol, fight to the top of his abilities. A cramped space is a disadvantage for Magician's Red, and he wants to fight Avdol at his best. Polnareff is Wamu's illegitimate son. This is my headcanon.
Yeah, he's very much along those lines here. But they go to the venue for the fight, which is Tiger Balm Garden. This absolutely feels like a place Araki went to, and he was just like, ooh, cool. I'm going to have guys fight here.
Yeah. It seems super cool. I'll never know because it was demolished to put up condos in 2004.
Yeah, I remember looking this place up before going like, this seems like a real place, and it's not anymore, man. Bummer. I don't know why. Like when I first saw this, I just immediately had the impression of like, this place has to have been demolished by now. Yeah, it's a real, like, weird, colorful place, just full of weird sculptures and art and stuff.
It seems positively psychedelic, the way it is presented in the show. There are huge, whimsical statues of all manners of animal and creature. Everything is painted in warm, almost pastel, but very bright tones. Yeah.
Everything's just kind of a rainbow.
Yes. Yeah. Everything looks like a sherbet rainbow. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone's all squared up to fight. The rest of the gang have agreed to just watch this one-on-one duel instead of just piling up on this dude all at once. Everyone in the gang admires a one-on-one duel, I guess.
They are continuing to boast about their abilities and outline exactly what their abilities are while demonstrating them.
Yeah.
And it seems to me maybe every stand's power is precision because they all seem really good at it.
Yeah. It's precision in what is usually like, okay, I have precision in flame or with my sword, and Jotaro is just everything. I am precise at everything, basically. Avdol's like firing off flames, and Polnareff is reflecting them and throwing them at a sculpture, which then, he just didn't, reflect the flames with his sword. He carved the statue into the shape of Magician's Red with the flames.
And if that's not precision, what is? This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Avdol is like doing some like special attacks here. He specifically can like shoot big flames in the shape of an Ankh.
Yes, this is his crossfire hurricane.
Yeah. What's funny is that for the most part with stand fights, once we get out of like the beginning with them, there aren't too many like special attacks with names. That's really only at the start where we get like crossfire hurricane and like
what lyric sounds more like an anime superpower than crossfire hurricane? Like
yeah.
Everything's downhill from there.
Polnareff reflects that crossfire hurricane back at Polnareff, and now Polnareff is fucking on fire and in pain, falling to the ground. And as Polnareff is about to cut Magician's Red in half, oh no, now he's on fire because what Polnareff attacked was not actually Magician's Red and Avdol, but rather Avdol set the Magician's Red sculpture Polnareff made on fire, and by melting it enough, made it look like it was the actual real Magician's Red moving.
Yes. Flames so precise, you might say, that they melted the joints and then manipulated the arms of this stone sculpture.
Yeah, this is a dumbass fight. But yeah, Avdol nails Polnareff with a crossfire hurricane right in the face, and he goes flying. It looks like he's smoking and sizzling. It looks like he's finished. Everyone's walking away, going like, he's done for. Okay, we're leaving. Let's go. And instead, Polnareff launches into the air. It looks like his stand explodes, but Polnareff is fine. He's just floating mid-air now after doing a big jump. And check this out. My stand is actually fine. I mitigated the damage of being hit by that attack because my stand actually has two modes to it. You've been fighting the base one.
And now it has ejected all of its armor. So now it's super fast, even faster than before. We're getting the truly innovative narrative structure of both show and tell. As we describe just how fast it is, while seeing clear demonstrations of just how fast it is. At this point, as Avdol and Polnareff just keep bragging to each other and trying to impress one another, just kiss already. Just kiss. You want to kiss, just kiss.
Yeah, they're getting really into just trying to impress each other here. Silver Cherry with its armor ejected, it's really skinny now. So also Silver Cherry is kind of like a robot man.
Yes.
He looks entirely comprised out of metal. He's got parts of him kind of look like they're made out of an erector set. He's got big screws in his elbow joints and stuff. He looks like he's just been put together out of a couple pieces. But his face kind of makes him look more like a knight, wearing kind of like a knight's helmet.
Right.
But with really big, kind of cute, cartoony eyeballs behind it. I don't know.
He's a cutie.
The Silver Chair is kind of cute. But yeah, with his armor popped off, it looks more skeletal. It's kind of got a metallic ribcage shape on its chest.
So now it is time for part 2. But after we get Silver Chariot as the commercial break info card.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's just super fast, man. It's
super fast.
It's super fast. But yeah, Silver Cherry is so fast now that earlier Polnareff appeared to be floating in air, but it was actually his stand was so fast that even they couldn't see it holding him up. It's
fast enough to create shadow clones or after images.
Yeah.
Depending on whether you one is the sub, one is the dub. Also, one is Dragon Ball, one is Naruto.
Yeah.
So pick your poison.
Yeah, whichever one you prefer. I'll go with Dragon Ball. Yeah, it looks like Avdol's having a very difficult time hitting Silver Chariot and all this stuff, but actually he is doing a kind
Silver
of
Chariot is carving Ankhs into Avdol's cheeks.
Oh yes.
Which is just a weird taunt.
Yeah.
Very fancy. This is the wordiest episode in a long time because they can't just exchange blows or attacks. They have to directly command their stand or say something to one another. But yeah, after Crossfire Hurricane after Crossfire Hurricane, Avdol once again explains that he can do a special Crossfire Hurricane, firing not only one giant Ankh, but any number of Ankhs that move in any number of directions.
Yeah, he keeps reiterating that he just doesn't shoot fire. He can divide his fire up into as many pieces as he wants and control all of them individually. Compared to most stand fights, this one almost feels like a Pokemon trainer duel. Because of how much they actively out loud commanding their stand. Usually most of the time in stand fights, the most commanding that you hear them vocalize is just shouting their stand's name while they bring it out. But here it's just constantly Pikachu Thunderbolt attack or whatever.
I mean, it's also in a great big open arena. That doesn't come up much.
Yeah.
Ever since that statue thing, this could be anywhere.
Yeah, Avdol is kind of doing a similar setup to what Kakyoin did previous episode, where a lot of his attacks are actually diversions for his actual finishing blow, which is...
I mean, it's essentially exactly the same. He does a Crossfire Hurricane special, and while Polnareff is sending Silver Chariot to just skewer and disperse all of these many Ankhs, he loses count, and one comes up from a tunnel below that was dug by an earlier example of the attack, and just hits Polnareff square, immolating him completely.
Yeah, Polnareff is he's defeated. He's just completely 100% on fire. This part is very funny because, like, he's in pain, but just more like a way, and not like a way, which a man would be if he was on fire.
They're talking about like, oh yeah, he's super dead. His flesh is melting off. Let's just walk away. And he's just like, damn, this sucks.
Yeah. Like, Avdol straight up, like, he had a dagger on him this whole time, apparently. He just drops it in front of Polnareff. It's just like, yo, you should just kill yourself right now, because dying by being on fire fucking sucks. Later.
Stop, Drop, and Roll was introduced in the 1970s, by the way. The first Stop, Drop, and Roll PSA, before they even came up with that name, actually starred Dick Van Dyke.
Oh, really?
Yeah. However, I am reminded that is only like an English-speaking thing, so I asked the one person I know who was raised in France. She said they do not have an equivalent, so maybe that's an explanation.
Okay, sure, yeah. But Polnareff here grabs that dagger and goes like, okay, maybe I'm going to kill myself, but he can't do it.
Well, the first thought he has is maybe I'm going to throw it into Avdol's back out of revenge. Yeah. And then he thinks maybe I'm going to kill myself. And then he's like, no, it is the right thing to do to let the flames consume my body and congratulate you as you walk away. That is my duty as a man. Yeah.
And of course, this, as usual, someone will be impressed by this act. And this time is Avdol. And so he just snaps his fingers and turns the flames off and goes like, you know what? You might be a nice guy. Like, even a Dio's servant, like, has some type of, like, chivalry and honor to him. Let's check you out, buddy. And of course,
just kiss already. Jesus, come on.
Just kiss this guy. Come on. Parts his hair a little bit, and there's a control bud there, a vampire bud or whatever. So they pull that out. Well, they don't even have to hum on it because it's just bright outside, so it just melts in the sun.
Joseph just hates the flesh bud so much.
Oh, yeah. He's doing like he's like really squicked out by it. He's doing like a weird wiggle.
Maybe all the tentacles remind him of Santana. He's got bad associations with weird, gross, foul flesh.
He just doesn't like to be reminded of Meat Invade.
So Polnareff is at the docks as they're about to head off on their Speedwagon Foundation charter ship. And congratulates them as they go, and then it's like, hey, old dude, take off your gloves real quick. I gotta see something.
This might be an odd request, but I have to see your hands to see if you have two right hands. Which
is a thing that gloves would not adequately hide, I would think. But
yeah,
never mind. He is on the hunt for the backwards-handed man. Not long after The Princess Bride hit theaters. I'm not saying. I'm just coincidences happen.
Yeah, but like, dude, this guy has to be based on Inigo Montoya because like his character motivation is so fucking similar. Looking for a guy with two of the same hand, like
an expert fencer looking for a dude with a weird hand. Out of vengeance for his family's shame.
It's gotta be.
So speaking of family shame, it is his turn to have a flashback.
Yeah.
Which is not his own flashback, actually.
No.
He is telling a story told to him by his sister's friend. His sister and her young friend were out at night, and I love the atmosphere of this because like the two young ladies aren't animated walking. They just like fade in and out a few steps ahead at a time, like passing through like ghosts.
Yeah.
It's a very evocative way to communicate a mood while also saving frames.
I love it. I love it when people do this.
Because we got to put the animation budget on Magician's Red Fire. Got all the fire burns frames, baby. So what happens is the two of them are accosted on the road by a man who is not getting wet from the rain. There's like an invisible shell protecting him from the rain. And Polnareff's young sister is her innocence is stolen. She is shamed. If you were wondering where that content warning I put in at the beginning of the episode kicks in, this is the place.
Yep.
Because these are euphemisms, or rather the common translations for euphemisms that show up all the time in anime and manga for rape and other sexual violence. Polnareff, his great quest for vengeance is a world-spanning trip to find the man with two right hands that raped and killed his sister.
Yeah. And also attacked, like, his sister's friend as well, and, like, left her there, like, just to die. She survived somehow, but... Yeah, there's a handful of times where rape comes up throughout JoJo, and it's never like a thing you see. It is just always like, this is why this guy is bad. It's a stand user rapist, and it's like every time it comes up, just like, I don't know, can we? I don't know if JoJo's the right place to handle any of this stuff.
Yeah, it's we just had this guy cut fire into a clock. I don't know if we need. And if we're going to deal with it, if we're going to get heavy, can we have things from a survivor's perspective?
Yeah.
And instead of the survivor, well, I mean, in this case, she's also a murder victim, so I don't know if survivor's the word, unfortunately.
Sure.
And not have them just be an object of motivation.
Yeah, like it so often ends up being, especially in, media like JoJo, that's usually more aimed at boys than anything else. If that ever comes up, it's always just kind of as like a revenge motivation for a character. Again, I've only seen everything through part 5, but part 3 probably has the most of this type of stuff. It's not particularly common either, but it probably where it comes up the most, this type of stuff. Mainly just because of Polnareff. But
anyway, I learned about this linguistic twist of phrase when I was trying to figure out what the hell Rekua's deal is in Zeta Gundam. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What
do you mean you were shamed when you were a child soldier in the 1 Year War? What does that mean?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
That has come up in just enough anime I've seen where it's like whenever they do a really vague euphemism, it's like, oh, it's that. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we get to the end of this flashback and hear that, Polnareff only knows this secondhand from the friend who survived the encounter, even though her chest exploded in a fountain of blood.
Yeah.
Maybe stand users really aren't that dangerous when it's all told.
Either that or this lady is just super tough. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man.
Maybe she should join the crew. She seems tough as hell.
So, again, the show is pretty accurate to the panels of the manga. They're basically just using most of the panels as storyboards, as a lot of anime adaptations do, I'm sure. But they keep the really wild poses in. And there's a part here where Polnareff
I'm trying to take Polnareff seriously. You're laying all this tragic shit on me. It's moody as hell. And then you do this?
Yeah, Polnareff gets real dramatic here, and he says, "My sister's soul would not be able to rest unless this man atones with his death." And as he says this, we get like a wide fisheye lens angle of him taking a really wide stance where one leg is stepping forward, his other leg is all the way back, and he has such a fucking hard lean on.
Yeah, he is barely hovering over the pavement. One has to assume Silver Chariot is holding him from just face planning. Like limbo champion of all Earth, Jean-Pierre Polnareff.
It is an insane, impossible pose he is striking, but it is like a really iconic panel of Polnareff, and they keep it the same for the show, and I love it. And of course, like the colors get all crazy for this pose as well. But yeah, it is just such a wild pose. Though, like the way his chest is there, he is like arching his back super fucking hard to achieve his pose. Like, man,
with that declaration made, we see the lengths to which he will go to find his sister's killer. He's like, this weird shit must have been the work of a stand user. I gotta seek out stand users, and that eventually took him to Dio. Dio is just chilling out with a bird and a hat. He's got a hat bird. Real cool hat on this bird. It's like the falconry hood, but it looks cooler than a falconry hood.
It's a cool bird that's on Dio's shoulder.
And Dio's like, hey, I know all about stand users. I could probably point you at the right guy if you join my evil army.
Mm-hmm.
And Polnareff says, yes, my quest for vengeance is so strong. I will join your evil army.
Yeah. You know, Dio's also like fortune telling stuff because, again, we're seeing a shot here where it looks like he's got a stand that's basically just hermit purple.
Mm-hmm.
And he's using that to divine images in his crystal ball. It's showing Polnareff images that tempt him into become Dio's servant here.
Back in the present, the Joestar group is like, hey, your sister's killer is an evil stand user. That is clear. But Dio is also an evil stand user. Therefore, by logic, they're actually working together. So you should help us kill Dio, and we'll probably find the end of your vengeance quest along the way. And Polnareff says, yes, this is logical. Of course I shall do this thing.
Yeah, sure, man. So yeah, we've got the fifth party member of Stardust Crusaders here now, Jean-Pierre Polnareff.
All the crew in the opening and ending are united together.
Mm-hmm. And while you know everyone's getting excited, they've recruited a new member. Two like teenage girls come by, and it's like, hey, can you get a? They go up to Jotaro and say, hey, could you take a picture of us? You know, we're touring.
Are these teenagers or are these the plane hostesses from earlier?
They could just they look a lot like the plane hostesses.
I don't know.
But Jotaro's being the rude, mean boy he is, and goes like, "No, I don't want to do this. Fuck off."
This time it's Polnareff's turn to take the cast-offs. It's like, "Hey, ladies, I'll take a picture of you." Like this is a fun running gag, but immediately showing off Polnareff's leg fetish is kind of a weird swerve to take the punchline.
Yeah, Polnareff is the horniest of the gang in Stardust Crusaders.
So, like, he doesn't just say, "Oh, you have lovely legs. I'll be sure to fit them in the frame," which is like, already. But we see the viewfinder of the camera. He's just zoomed in on their legs,
and it's like, dude, you're not getting the pictures. These aren't coming out like this isn't a. You're not getting the Polaroids spitting out of this camera. They have to get the film developed later. They're not going to mail you the pictures of their legs to you. You're going to be on a boat in like 10 minutes, dude.
And that's the end of the episode.
Uh-huh. With this episode, and I guess the following episode that we'll have in the next podcast, also like I guess some content warnings. I don't know. The show, this next episode and the episode following just get a little weird about a little girl a little bit, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am now prepared to watch episode 7, I guess you're hinting.
Yeah, it's just, I wanted to give that warning real quick.
But before we get there, there's, of course, episode 6. We do things in a logical, orderly order around these parts. Dark Blue Moon. Dark Blue Moon has a brief cutaway to, meanwhile, at the Cujo mansion.
Yeah.
And this only exists so we can hear a doctor sigh.
A Speedwagon doctor just goes,
Holly still exists. Things aren't great. Back to the action.
Yeah. Part 3, I think, is the only adaptation of any JoJo part where they actually add scenes that the manga didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Part of this is just so that they can reach a suitable episode count for the 2 arcs of the manga, because otherwise it would end up a little short. I think also part of it is just wow, this is the most popular part overall of the entire series, so we really want to put extra stuff into it to make it longer. Every once in a while we just get back at the Cujo mansion, or we'll get some extra phone calls just to get characters we haven't seen in a while, like some extra action and stuff that was never in the manga. But yeah, they're on a boat. They're going from Hong Kong to Singapore, which is going to take them about 3 days to reach.
Joseph wants the kids to ditch their uniforms because he feels lonely at the gun show. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's wearing a fucking sleeveless red and white striped shirt to show off his gigantic old man guns. He's looking good. I mean, I guess it's the hormone, but both Jotaro and Kakyoin brought no other clothes other than their student uniform. And Joseph's annoyed by this.
It is an interesting point because Jonathan and Joseph changed their clothes all the time in their adventures. And Joseph continues to do so now as a supporting character in Jotaro's. As you've described Stardust Crusaders as like the emblematic cast of a JoJo cast, is the one whose central character, at least so far, is the one who has the most of a, well, uniform in the character sense. It is also literally uniform in the story that he does not deviate from.
Yeah.
There's a difference between like a classic look and the cartoon thing where, you know, Doug Funny opens his closet and it's the same sweater vest over and over again 10 times.
Yeah. Kakyoin says, like, explains why he didn't bring any other clothes, and that's, well, I'm a good boy, and I am still a student, so I have to represent my school. I will continue to wear my high school uniform. While as Jotaro he just likes his clothes and he doesn't want to wear anything else. Fuck you, old man.
Yeah. And then we meet Smokey 2, Sassy Smokey.
Oh yeah, Sassy Smokey.
There's a kid with overalls and a little hat. Kid looks like they should be slinging papes or maybe
yes,
bugging some street gang to let him in, even though they're too little.
Yeah, absolutely. This episode is doing this thing that, like, whenever it comes up, it's just kind of annoying to me, which is just like, okay, here's like a new character or something, and it is very clearly like from the instant you see them, the show is setting up. Oh, you mean they're a girl? And it's always just like. It's just also because like the signifiers for that and the character design is always so obvious, and it's just like, it's one, oh my god, blank is a girl or a boy and we thought they were the opposite gender, is like not a surprise to me. Stop doing that. You know, this was made in the 80s, fucking whatever. But it's just like that thing where it's also just like, from just looking at the character, you know they're going for that reveal, and it takes minutes to do, and it's just like, I know.
It is a classic trope of adventure at sea. You know, the young stowaway is actually a girl. Whoa. I mean, all the way up to the second Pirates movie?
Yes.
For a really recent example. But yeah, especially how she's found out is fucking weird, but we'll get there.
Yep. Yep.
This kid is great. I love her.
No, yeah, she's fun. Like this guy in the ship is just going like, hey, you know, we can't have stowaways here. We gotta like discipline you. And this kid just fucking bites this dude's arm really hard. And as he's screaming, they just jump out of the boat and just start swimming away.
Well, this is after she threatens to break his balls before...
Right, yeah.
You know, they can, you know, turn her in, because she's stowing away for a reason. She's got places to fucking be.
Yep.
So yeah, this places her in a lineage with both Jonathan threatening thugs in Ogre Alley and Jotaro, who has actually destroyed balls. Mouth violence and ball violence. The top two kinds of violence.
Yeah. So, you know, she's jumped into the water. She's swimming away. Everyone's like worried, but Jotaro isn't, just like, she wouldn't have jumped in there unless she knew how to swim good. And she does. But at the same time, oh no, there's sharks in these waters. And basically immediately a shark is coming up behind this girl to attack her. And just as it's about to chomp down on her, Star Platinum just emerges from the water and punches the ever-loving shit out of this shark and kills it.
Yeah, like we see Star Platinum go, but we see most of this encounter. It's not really long enough to call a fight. Like, it's over. No. But we see most of it from the kid's perspective, which means a shark just flies out and gets impacts from nowhere.
Yeah.
It's such a good trick to like get us, you know, on her side, in her shoes. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but it's weird. The shark just exploded.
Yeah,
but this is when we find out that this young boy is not a boy, because
oh my god,
JoJo starts to like grab her and bring her back, but he grabs not the shoulder but the chest. Can we not grope the kids? Like, wait a minute. That's like a 12-year-old girl's chest, not a 12-year-old boy. I can tell the difference. What?
Yeah.
What the fuck is your
problem?
What the
fuck? JoJo, come on. Yeah.
And her hat comes off and she has like fucking shampoo commercial mermaid hair.
Yeah. But yeah, as like Jotaro is, swimming back to the boat with her to bring her back on. The shark that is now dead and, far in the background now, suddenly like splits in half. And there's something else in the water now that is definitely not a shark, but definitely a stand. It's got evil glowing eyes.
We know we're in a dangerous place because a shark has died. Does this mean sharks are the dogs of the sea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is this the first animal death we get in part 3? I think it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we haven't gotten to a shark death yet, of which there are multiple. Or a dog death in Stardust Crusaders, of which there are multiple. We've got our first shark death. Jotaro can't swim any faster than he is already. Sour Platinum isn't like super great for swimming. This thing in the water is coming up super fast, so Kakyoin sends out Hierophant Green, it's long range, to grab him from farther away and pull him back up.
This show, like, its animation is fine. It's not Mob Psycho 100. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's fine. And it's visually sold by like inheriting so much flair from the source material and adding more on with, the color shifting and everything. But there are moments where it's just like, man, I see you cutting corners. Like,
oh yeah,
the way JoJo is apparently like supposed to be like treading water when he brings the kid back, but it looks like he's just standing in a waist deep pool perfectly still.
Yes. Yeah.
How long are your legs? They go to the bottom of the ocean, buddy.
Yeah. Stardust Crusaders saves like the really good animation for very specific bits. But at the same time, it never gets to a point where it's just like, it looks really bad.
No, I would never say it looks bad. I would just say it's like Akira, it's not. That's not...
Yeah.
Constant
like,
dynamism is not the angle it's taking.
No, yeah. And it's like the animation studio's David Production, they do a lot of anime, like all the time. And they seem like a place that's pretty like economical, where you get decent looking, good looking stuff that isn't, super dynamic all the time, but when it really matters, like, they do good. Part 3 is long. It is it's 49 episodes, I think. It's basically more than like 2 seasons of a show. So I think, they get a good like equal ground for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, the instant they pull this girl up, she goes, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but do you want to fight? And then she pulls out a switchblade. And she's constantly tossing the switchblade from one hand to the other. And she's like, I'm going to stab the shit out of you guys.
And these these 5 dudes on a quest to kill an immortal super vampire are like, I don't know how to handle this. This kid could take us.
Yeah,
this
and
is
it's like
fucking weird, dudes.
And they're wondering, like, could this kid be a stand user? We can't rule out the possibility. She's like the big, she's sticking out like a sore thumb out of everybody else in this boat. But after a certain point, she keeps tossing the knife back and forth, and Abdul's like, just straight up asks her, like, how's Dio doing? And she doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Master of subtlety. Like, he introduces us like, guys, it's okay. I've got a plan.
Yeah.
How's Dio doing these days?
And she's just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. She calls them punks and just keeps going like, I'm going to stab you. Who wants to go first? I'm going to fucking stab you. I will stab you. And
she calls Kakyoin a jerkhole?
Yes, yeah, she does. She calls her knife the demon blade that thirsts for blood.
It will not rest until it drinks of blood of her enemies.
Yeah, and she says it's looking for its 340th victim. And so then the instant she says that, everyone goes, oh, this girl's just a rascal. She's not a stand user. And they immediately go like, I like this girl.
yeah, she's cool. All right.
And the instant they're done like figuring out like the little girl can't be a stand user because she's too precious with her switchblade.
The ship captain shows up on loan from the village people.
Yeah. Yeah, that is who this guy is, yeah.
He's got a little hat and a neckerchief.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all on the back foot because Avdol has never heard of an aquatic stand user. Like, such a thing may be possible, but not one I've ever heard of. And he's our stand expert, so like, whoa, uncharted waters in more ways than one.
Yeah.
So the captain is here to like enforce the law,
Yeah.
Number one, we got a stowaway. That's a problem I got to take care of. Number two, yes, Mr. Joestar, I did personally vet everyone's background checks. They're all loyal, upstanding seamen. Number three, put that cigarette out, you punk.
Yeah, in the background, Jotaro started lighting a cigarette. So the Netflix version of Part 3 is not censored like Part 1 and 2 were.
Hell yes.
Or at least not as much. So literally when I was watching the show, and it was the Crunchyroll versions, which were just the TV broadcast versions in Japan where they had to censor certain things, any instance of smoking was censored. So Jotaro's face just has a black veil over it whenever he was smoking.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, you're supposed to turn it into a sucker. Did we learn nothing from One Piece?
So yeah, it was really funny that like some of the violence wasn't censored. At least if it wasn't animal violence, it usually wasn't censored as much, unless it was super gory. But any instance of smoking, what's happening? Black veil.
Well, this smoking doesn't last long because the captain plucks the cigarette from JoJo's mouth and then stubs it out on the medallions he has on his hat.
Yeah, and he's just like, what the fuck were you going to do when you were done smoking that? Were you going to toss it into the sea that I love so much? Fuck you. And the captain specifically, like while he has vetted everyone else on the ship, the captain himself is like a part of or an associate of the Speedwagon Foundation.
But this sort of disrespect, Jotaro will not allow to stand. Nobody tells him not to smoke. He liquefied the nuts of 3 surgeons general for trying.
Yeah. Yeah, Jotaro says, I meant to be rude, but I have figured it out. The captain is the stand user. Everyone else is very surprised that Jotaro is somehow sussed out that the captain is the guy commanding this stand and stuff.
I'm not surprised because his name is Captain Dragon and he looks like a Venture Brothers character. He's the stand user.
Yeah. The captain is just like, huh? What's a stand? And Jotaro goes, well, I know he's a stand user because I figured out a tell that every stand user has, and that is stand users, if they're exposed to cigarette smoke, a vein on their nose pops up, and everyone goes, what? And they all touch their nose, including the captain. Jotaro made all that bullshit up. He just wanted to see if the captain would also be shocked by this.
He basically said, stand user says what? And it worked.
Yeah.
That was his plan.
And immediately the captain's just like, well, fuck, I'm a dumbass. He tricked me. Yep, it's me. He killed the actual captain before they even, left.
So yeah, he unveils himself. He comes clean, and I'd like to introduce you to my stand, Dark Blue Moon. Mm-hmm. The moon card represents fear of the unknown, he says. Tarot guides say that the moon is associated with hidden enemies, sure, danger, calumny, darkness, terror, deception, occult forces, error.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, this is a really good match if you're going to have not only a sea monster, but also a sea monster controlled by an imposter, because this is not the captain we were meant to have. No. Mm-hmm. He killed the Speedwagon Foundation captain and took his place. Yeah.
Yeah, we see his stand in full now. It is, I don't know, it's kind of like the creature of the Black Lagoon, but blue.
Kinda, yeah.
Kinda, sorta. Scaly, webbed hands and feet, stuff like that. He's got 4 eyeballs.
Mm-hmm. And sort of a cylindrical or like a disc-shaped head.
But he immediately, his stand grabs this girl, and he's just like, hey, I'm just going to jump into the water with this lady, try and fight me. And as he goes to, jump backwards into the water, Jotaro is just so goddamn fast. He just punches the fucking shit out of this guy's face, his stand's face, in midair. And is at least able to, he's saves the girl. Kakyoin grabs her with his stand.
Good boy. He's a good boy.
So the captain is just floating in the water, just super bloody, and just going like, fuck. That hurt.
If you wanted to do a match, a test of speed, which is how the captain presents this before he even jumps away, why not call out Silver Chariot, huh?
Mm-hmm.
He's the speediest boy, seems to be. But whatever. This is Star Platinum. You've been called out. I'm taking y'all on 5-on-1, but mostly 1-on-1.
Yeah.
We finally get Star Platinum stats in the next title card. They are very high.
Yeah. Even throughout the rest of JoJo, Star Platinum is just one of the best stands. His worst stat is just range. He's super close range.
And that's a C. There are worse things for range even than Star Platinum.
Yeah, he has A for just about everything other than that. Yeah, I actually got ahead of myself a little bit. The girl has not been pulled up yet. Jotaro grabbed her first, and as he's trying to pull her up, he just can't pull her up. He's getting pulled down somehow. And it turns out Blue Moon was able to land one attack on him, and that was barnacles, evil barnacles.
Evil barnacles are growing and spreading and constricting Star Platinum, as well as draining his strength and Jotaro's strength as well.
Yeah.
So yes, this is a secret attack disguised beneath another attack. The villains are doing the hero move now. You gotta watch out.
Yeah. So yeah, this is where Kakyoin comes in with Hierophant Green to pull her up because Jotaro just cannot move at all. He actually gets pulled underwater by these evil barnacles. This is where we established that it is possible to speak underwater if you're a stand user because you can just use your stand to send your voice out through.
Even being submerged will not stop a stand user from monologuing. Nothing can stop them.
It's true. The being able to talk underwater thing doesn't come up much, but it is consistent at least whenever it happens. Less consistent in whose mouth is flapping, because sometimes it's the stand's mouth moving, and sometimes it's just the actual user's mouth moving. Whatever. And
that's, both of those come up in this scene, I think.
Yeah, like immediately. Captain Dragon is bragging that, hey, bro, you're fucked, you're underwater. You might be able to hold your breath for a little bit, but I've practiced, holding my breath underwater. I can go for a full 6 minutes and 21 seconds without having to breathe.
His chest isn't huge because of pecs. That's all lungs, baby.
It's all lung, yeah.
He's outlining all of the ways that JoJo is fucked and trying to do the Joseph thing and predict, I bet I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this. Well, let me tell you why that's the wrong thing to think, boyo. While JoJo, you just have to follow the ancient wisdom and swim down. Always swim down.
Yeah. The barnacles that got placed on him earlier are continuing to grow more and more, like just encasing his entire body to the point where he can't move too much. And Dark Blue Moon is, he establishes all of his scales are razor sharp.
Yes.
He punches the propeller on the boat above them and just destroys it. And he starts to create a whirlpool. So he's just going to suck. He's just gonna trap JoJo in this until he can't breathe anymore. He's just going to drown him.
And the whirlpool is full of his razor fish scales so that the allies up on the surface cannot come down without chopping their arms off.
Yeah, Kakyoin tries to do that, and his hand just immediately gets super cut up.
Dark Blue Moon basically has every power you could think of for a wet boy.
Yeah.
His barnacles, the razor scales, the whirlpools, the swim's good. It's all of it. He can do it all.
Yeah, he's just entirely, all water things. He's got it. But yeah, Jotaro is stuck in this whirlpool, and this guy just says out loud, I bet you're thinking you're just going to let yourself get dragged into the center of the whirlpool and just punch me. Well, I'd like to see you try it. Good luck. Everyone on top is saying oh no, he's getting sucked into the center of the whirlpool, a word I cannot say correctly. And Joseph is just actually, my grandson's pretty good. I think this is good that this is happening.
Yeah, it's good that he's gone completely limp.
Yeah. Jotaro's gone completely limp. He's getting sucked up into the center of the whirlpool. Yeah, he's been conserving his strength, now basically completely encased in these barnacles. And he uses all of his power to do a single move, a new move.
Single bullshit move.
Yeah, I don't like Starfinger. Thankfully, Starfinger comes up twice.
Okay.
Starfinger is just, hey, what if Star Platinum's fingers can stretch really long? And so
one super focused punch that just caves in the brain of Dark Blue Moon.
Yeah, this is the Dark Blue Moon fight might be my least favorite stand fight out of anything. compared to later stand fights where it's a lot more like my stand can do one specific thing. This guy is just like, well, I got razor sharp scale, I can do the whirlpool, I can, yada yada.
I've closed off every possible thing. You can't do anything. I can do 1,000 things. You can do nothing. And then the response is, actually, I can do a thing.
Yeah.
But it's not, set up. It's not foreshadowed even. Like, we've never seen Star Platinum be stretchy.
Yeah. And I think the stretchy Starfinger comes up one more time, maybe. It is a power that, like, Araki went like, actually, nah. Later times where it's like, Star Platinum, turns the tables at the last second and wins. It is done in better, more interesting ways than my fingers can stretch all of a sudden.
If Star Platinum's last uncovered spot had been able to do something with precision, like,
yeah,
a flick of the neck in such a perfect way that its hair, like, diverts the path of a razor scale to then boomerang around and free an arm for punching. That would be fucking baller.
Yeah.
I fixed it. I did better. I win. Give me the prize.
All right. Time to start our own JoJo spinoff. Let's call it Diesel. But yeah, it's probably one of the weakest fights. Just because there isn't any satisfying turnabout. It's just like, okay, no, I punch you.
You thought I couldn't, but I could.
But I could. Gotcha, bitch. I punched you. But yeah, that guy's stand, and therefore his face just gets fucking caved in.
Yeah.
And he gets a couple words out, just like, fuck, ow, I didn't, you got me.
The immortal last words of Captain Dragon are blub, 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 blub.
Yeah. But it turns out Captain Dragon, in his dying moments, sets off all the bombs he had secretly planted on the boat. And so it just fucking goes up in flames. And he strands everybody anyways. The cast and the little girl and the crew are able to escape on a lifeboat, but now they're just stranded.
I'm expecting them to eventually, like, travel by camel and the camel explodes.
Yeah, you're kind of close.
But you're skipping JoJo's final victorious one-liner.
Oh, right.
He reveals that he wasn't ever thinking any of those things that the captain said he was probably thinking. He was just thinking about how gross it is that when somebody, dies, they wet themselves, and he's going to be swimming in the same ocean as all that pee. What the fuck, JoJo?
Yeah. No one is good at one-liners in Stardust for the most part.
Very bad.
They're really bad, but it's almost endearing in a way because it just comes off as a bunch of guys who are just huge nerds trying to be cool a lot of the
Welcome
time.
to my ocean. You'll notice there's no P in it. People usually don't spell ocean with a P, so this doesn't work as well as the pool thing.
Now the boat explodes. But everyone escapes on a lifeboat, but they have very little water.
And the kid is wasting it by taking a drink and doing a spit take?
Yeah, they do. She does a little a spit take, and Joseph gets a little upset, like, hey, man, that's our only water. But she's doing a spit take because it's very foggy all of a sudden, and right next to them, out of nowhere, is a gigantic ship that is there to, potentially rescue them. And that's the end of episode 6.
This ship looks very sinister, though. Like, it comes out of a sinister fog. I don't think it's a very friendly boat.
It's probably not a friendly boat.
It's no Theodore the Tugboat, let me tell you. That is the end of episode 6, and therefore the end of what we watched this week. This is shaping up to be a fun little, like you said, a stand user of the week structure.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss when we leave the stage where every other episode we get a new friend. Yeah. Just imagine how much fun it would be if, they get to Egypt, kick down Dio's door, and there's 40 dudes.
Yeah. And while the majority of the show continues to be stand of the week, there's certain characters where it's like, wow, that stand of the week user was like pretty fun, and they become recurring villains or characters. So we still, are going to meet some, new recurring characters along the way. Out of these 3 episodes, episodes 5 or 4 and 5, I like a lot. 6 is kind of weak for me just because of the fight and all that, and also being weird to the girl.
Yeah, but introducing the girl, and it's such a strong introduction.
It is a strong intro, though. I like her a lot. So at least it's introducing, a pretty fun character.
The things that come from her are great, brilliant, wonderful. The things that are done around her, iffy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said earlier, episode 7 also does some iffy stuff with her. It's not a lot, thankfully. It's quick from what I remember. I might be wrong. I misremembered how much Joseph was buddies with the Nazis. So don't take my word with a grain of salt. But episode 7, I remember being kind of wild. So look forward to that.
Okay, all right.
And the further we go along, the stronger the stand fights get because they Araki starts working out more of like how those fights should go. They lean more and more into less just punching and going, well, I have a special attack too, and more into like the part 2 style strategizing and how can I do a wacky thing with my stand to beat this dude, where punching, just punching is not an effective manner of winning a fight.
You ever try to punch a bug? Doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Yeah, even with the bug, like punching...
Especially a flying bug, my goodness.
Yeah. Even from the beginning, the Stand of the Week stuff, I think, is already, working out pretty decently. And also just kind of having a road trip arc, I guess, is fun. Let you change up the scenery a lot. But even from the get-go, like, there's a couple things that you can notice, and that is basically, if you're in the world of JoJo, if there is anything even slightly out of the ordinary, you gotta be fucking extremely suspicious of it.
Yeah.
Like, anybody you don't know, like, stranger danger here, like, they're a stand user if you don't know them. And even if it's like, no, they're vetted, like, are they really?
Are they?
Hey, how's Dio doing these days?
If that had worked. If that had worked.
How's Dio doing these days? Oh, what the? You got me. He's doing great.
He's chilling out with his bird. Have you seen his bird?
It is kind of interesting to see the way Dio is presented this time around because he is always... If you ever see Dio, he's extremely covered in shadow. He is very much like in the background. And most of the time you see Dio is not what he's doing, but what he did in the past via flashbacks.
Yeah. Dio seems to have grown up, in a sense. Dio is okay with delayed gratification and long-term planning.
Yeah, like he...
if you think back to part 1 Dio, he's like, oh man, I'm a vampire. I'm going to eat the whole world and become king of a planet of vampires, and I'm going to do that in about a week. Like, that's how long this should take.
Yeah, he has learned to like plan more after getting extremely owned because he was too hasty and just thought he could just beat up everybody on his own. But yeah, that's episodes 4 through 6. Be back next week with 7 through 9, which I think immediately start improving on the stand fights a bit. We start getting weirder with the stands, getting a little more creative with them.
Oh, good.
It's not just going to be, I got a lizard man or I got a bug. It gets weirder, more unique stuff, and it's pretty fun.
So with that, we will leave you until then. Before we go, I would like to invite people to check out a game that I made that is right around its first anniversary.
Oh gosh, wow.
There was like a soft launch a little earlier, so I'm not sure what to call its birthday, but it's right around its birthday. It's called Last Shooting. It is a 2-player tabletop role-playing game about being a pair of mech pilots in a series of duels escalating along with the war around you that you're in. I imagine you could suit it to tell different stories, but that's the story that the rules assume you're using it to tell. You can find it on itch.io. You can also find it on Drive-Thru RPG. PDFs on both of those storefronts. The print version, print on demand, that is only available on Drive-Thru RPG. If you want a physical copy, that's where you got to go. I really liked making that game. I love hearing about people who play it. Every time somebody like messages me and like, let me tell you about my pilot, it is the dopest, coolest shit. I get, and that's the lesson you take from designing your own game. You wind up making a game you would want to play, and then the stories that come out of it tend to be the kind of stories you love to hear. So everybody who tells me about their Last Shooting session is just like so fucking cool to me.
Yeah, that is super cool. And I see some of those people on Twitter like telling you sometimes, and
it's great.
It's super fucking cool seeing that. Have you ever thought of designing another game? Or
if I have another idea for a game, I'll make it.
Okay.
That's where Last Shooting came from. I just had an idea that was stuck in my head, and then it became a full game after I think I idly tweeted like, man, it's weird having ideas for things that I know will never go anywhere. And then somebody was like, hey, you should actually write it down. Like, okay, fine.
Right.
And then a few months later, I've gone through a full round of playtesting, and I got a professional cover from Cy Sweetman, who's amazing. Everyone should check out Cy Sweetman's art. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
And then now here we are talking about it today. Gosh, that was a good experience making that game. I really liked it.
Yeah. God, I can't believe it was that long ago already, though.
Right?
It feels like it's still new. I don't know.
But as far as things that are much newer, this show is one, and you can help us grow and develop by leaving a rating on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else that leaves you the option. Algorithms can be your friend. They can be if you make them.
I hate the algorithm. I hate bending to the will of the algorithm. Damn you.
But a more direct bit of support you can give is just a reminder this, along with all of our other collaborations, are supported on Patreon. Patreon.com/Chip and Ironicus. Yes?
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, that supports this show. That supports all of our Let's Plays. That supports your streaming that I never really take much of a part in because of schedule things, but that's okay.
Yeah. It's also it's generally very impromptu. I want to have you on more streams, but it's just I never plan my streams out. I need to do that.
Maybe by the time people are hearing this go up in the feed, that might be different. Who knows?
Yeah. There's always been some games where it's just that would be fun to cover, but I never really want to do a high effort Let's Play of it. So maybe we could just do it through that. I don't know. Yeah.
It's summer now. Anything could happen.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
With all that business behind us, it is once again time to say farewell, and we will be back on the same JoJo time, same JoJo channel. New stands and new wild ass pulls to talk about.
See you later, everybody.
To be continued.